I'm Christopher Zweig, and today on CJ at the Movies, I dish on some new films, including Paul Thomas Anderson's latest film with the son of the late Philip Seymour Hoffman, two documentaries, and plus we'll have an early look at Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. Let's take a look. Our first movie is Paul Thomas Anderson's latest entry, Licorice Pizza, and it's a fascinating, strange, and hilarious film with some fresh new leads like Cooper Hoffman, son of the late Philip Seymour Hoffman, as a young actor, and Haim's very own Alana Haim as a photographer who is a decade older than him. And seeing these two mismatched individuals collaborating together as friends, business partners, and potential lovers is handled in an old-fashioned sense.
Do you really want to see my boobs?
Can I touch them?
See you tomorrow.
With brilliant supporting work from Bradley Cooper as producer John Peters, Tom Waits as a filmmaker, and Sean Penn as a big name, Licorice Pizza resonates with some of Paul Thomas Anderson's masterpieces like Magnolia and Boogie Nights, and shares its love for 1970s Hollywood almost the way Quentin Tarantino shared his affection for the 60s in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It has style, attitude, and strong nostalgia, and seeing Haim and Hoffman together or separate on screen really shines in every way possible. This is a masterpiece. Don't miss it. Our next movie is Flee, an animated documentary in which we meet Amin, a refugee from Kabul, Afghanistan, who is interviewed about his life. He talks about his family, politics, and his homosexuality. His father was taken as a communist, his family had to flee to Moscow, and traveling to Sweden may be their only chance at survival, though the journey is complicated and only one or two family members could travel at a time.
Har du nogensinde fortalt din livshistorie før?
Nej.
Flee is a movie that shows us one man's struggles of being a refugee and a homosexual. He has to deal with one abusive Russian officer after the next in Moscow, ride on nauseating boat trips to Sweden, and even asking his doctor to help him fix his gay interests. It's impossible for me to imagine his life, but I do acknowledge his reality and how he learns to thrive on it. This is something to behold whether or not you admire animated features, and bear in mind this is a movie for adults. And our next movie is the new film version of the play West Side Story, and I'm sure like most of you, you'll be skeptical about why it had to be made, because the 1961 version was a classic. But much to my surprise, this one, directed by Steven Spielberg, is as faithful to the source material as the classic. You know the story, inspired by Romeo and Juliet, about two rivals, the white guys known as the Jets and the Puerto Ricans known as the Sharks. Ansel Elgort plays Tony, an ex-convict and good friend of the Jets leader, who falls for the beautiful Maria, the sister of the Sharks leader. She's played by newcomer Rachel Ziegler, and this forbidden love pushes the war further.
You know, I wake up to everything I know either getting sold or wrecked or being taken over by people that I don't like.
You keep away from him as long as you're in my house.
I'm a grown-up now, Bernardo. I'm gonna think for myself.
Who are you? Friend or foe?
The movie also features Rita Moreno, who played Maria's confidant Anita in the 1961 version, and now she's Tony's boss and mother figure. I was marveled at how well Spielberg guides the right actors, dance choreographers, and composers to make sure West Side Story wasn't self-congratulatory, but dazzling and uplifting. The actors are all uniformly excellent in the ways they commit to their roles and don't care to exceed the original talents, but rather present the characters in their own aspects. This is a lot better than you'd expect, and maybe a whole lot more. Steven Sondheim, who wrote the lyrics to the play, would have been proud of this movie. And our last movie is Try Harder, another documentary, but this one is live action and focuses on the Lowell High School in San Francisco, which is the city's #1 public school, but has Asian American students dealing with the stereotype that their race can't get accepted into the best colleges and receive the excuse that they can't squeeze everyone in. And we also meet 5 students who have their own perspectives of getting into college or getting rejected, and they're not just Asian, but also African American or white.
Well, it's hard to have a strong sense of self-esteem because you're always comparing yourself to other people.
If I don't go to one of those big colleges, I will not be able to do what I want to do.
Try Harder, directed by Debbie Lum, wants to warn us about how some of the best schools discriminate against these Asian students who are a lot more than the stereotypes describe them. It does lag in various areas, but it also makes an important point about how discrimination can be involved in the school systems too. The excuses about why are unacceptable and pathetic, as if everyone is too stupid to understand the real reason, and the student interviewees all have the courage to say what's on their minds, and they earn our affection for them. So check it out. Now let's recap the movies I reviewed today. Thumbs way up for Paul Thomas Anderson's Licorice Pizza, a love letter to 1970s Hollywood with two of the best leads in recent movie history. Thumbs way up for Flee, an animated documentary about a gay refugee. This is a lot personal and more complex than you'd expect. More thumbs way up for Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, another film version of the play in which Steven Sondheim would have been proud of. And finally, thumbs up for Try Harder, an educational doc about a school system gone wrong. I'm Christopher Zweig. Stay safe, and I'll see you at the movies. For more amazing content, please like and subscribe to my channels. You can also read my reviews at cjatthemovies.com and listen to my podcast reviews at newhdradio.com.